Good morning, Mr. Mann.
Hi.
Ooh, you've got some bags under your eyes. No offense, sir.
No, none taken. I was up all night long. It was miserable.
Really?
I'm like at home last night and I'm eating oysters out of a can and watching Boy Meets World, which have you ever seen that? Like it's an older show, but it's so good. Like
I don't think I have. I've seen Girl Meets World with my sister. It was on a Disney Channel thing. They just redid it.
This was Boy Meets World about a boy and he just kind of met the world, I guess. I don't know. But, so I'm watching that. It's one of my favorite shows. And then this like alert comes on the TV and it's like, this is a test of the emergency broadcasting. You ever heard that? It's like the tornado drill that they run.
I've heard that.
So I'm like, oh no, there's a tornado, which is such a nice day, you know? And I even looked out the window and so I was like, oh, I gotta get to shelter. And like, I don't have a basement or anything. And they say the safest place in a tornado is the bathtub. You ever hear that?
Yeah, I've heard that.
And then I'm like, oh, shoot, do I even have time to draw a bath? So I turn the water on and I go and get my my towel and shampoo. And so I climb in the bathtub and I'm just sitting there soaking, waiting for them. Like I turned the TV up before I got in there so I could hear when it was all clear. And it never came back on. And then I missed the rest of Boy Meets World. They even ran a second episode. I missed it too.
Well, I'm kind of confused, Mr. Mann. Was there a tornado, or was it a test? You said it was a test?
It was a tornado test.
Well, so there wasn't a real tornado?
It was a test to see if you would get to shelter because there's a tornado out there. And so I got to shelter in the bathtub. Which I don't even know why they make you take a bath in a tornado. Well, I guess it's if debris is flying around, you'll at least stay clean.
Yeah, I was kind of confused about that part too. But
so I was in there. It had to be a good 2.5, 3 hours, and the water got cold, and I was miserable and shivering, and it got all wrinkly, and it was terrible. And then I finally thought, well, nothing's happening. I guess it's safe to get out, even though they didn't tell me to.
Okay.
And so I finally got out about 4 o'clock this morning and got a couple hours of sleep.
Well, Mr. Mann, if that ever happens again and it says it's a test, it might just be a test of the system it'll use when there is a real one.
No, but it makes the noise. Like, you ever hear it?
Yeah, it's a pretty legit test. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, but I think in that case, it's just a test of that sound. Yeah, it's weird, I know, but...
It was a tornado.
Well, if it was a real tornado and you were going to hide in your bathtub, don't put the water in the tub, because if there was ever lightning in a tornado... Who
just sits in their tub without water in it? That's dumb. Like, the whole purpose of a bathtub is to, like, wash yourself.
Well, yeah, but I think if a tornado's coming,
the
bathtub's a solid...
I think, you have no idea.
Well, I just don't want you to get electrocuted, and I don't think you need to...
There's no my bathtub doesn't take electricity. Like, it's just water powered.
Next time, just try it without the water, and, you just keep your...
nearly as clean.
Yeah, that's true, but, you'll keep your clothes on in case there's debris.
How would I get the shampoo out of my hair?
I would avoid the shampoo, too, but, when it's a real tornado, no shampoo, no water.
It was a real tornado. They ran the alarms.
Okay.
You're listening to the Josh Mann Podcast, featuring Director Extraordinaire, Josh Mann. Well, hello there, listeners. This is Josh Mann, Director Extraordinaire, and I am joined once again with my producer, Bethanie Shiplap.
Hello, listeners.
Today, we are going to talk about something that should be very helpful to up-and-coming filmmakers who are wanting to learn from a genius such as myself. And so I have four, what would you call it? Like tips, I guess? 4 tips on how to avoid common time wasters when trying to get your film made and get it off the ground.
Well, I think this will be really helpful because, people starting out might, spend a lot of time on steps that they don't need to do. And since you made some films, I guess you've got some tips to share.
I do. And
I'm excited to hear this.
You know what they say, time is like worth something. And so...
They do say that, yeah.
And so just to help you to not waste worth somethings, here's some tips. So the first one on how to avoid common time wasters is don't waste too much time researching.
Really?
Yeah, so
Okay.
if you're doing a film on maybe World War II, for instance,
Okay.
don't spend too much time researching World War II because it's kind of a waste of time. So you just go with what you know, and what you don't know, make up. Because
Ooh, even if it's well, like a serious film, like something about World War II, and it's
Yeah.
not made up.
right, yeah. I mean, you might read like
Mm-hmm.
an article or something, but don't waste too much time. And chances are nobody's going to know. And if somebody does point it out and says, "Hey, you said this about this, and it's a lie," then you can say it's a movie, so get over it.
Oh, well, I guess that's true. And I think you can do that more with like fiction. But if you're going to make a historical film, you might just have to do more research. But
Yeah, but don't waste too much time doing it because you
okay.
can always make stuff up. Like I've been writing a script for years about Benjamin Franklin, and I don't know anything about him, but I'm writing it's kind of like a documentary about his life and stuff. And so I know, I know a few things. Like I know he wore glasses. He was short. He wore a long coat, usually like long in the back. And he was struck by lightning when he was flying his kite. And so,
whoa, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Is that one made up or?
No, that's real.
Oh.
Yeah. I saw a cartoon about that when I was in elementary school.
Well, what's the next tip?
The next tip of not wasting time is don't waste too much time auditioning people. If you get somebody in and they're good enough, go with it. Like,
okay, so trust your gut. I guess what you're saying.
I'm just saying don't waste too much time because you can audition people all day long waiting for the right person. And in the meantime, you could have just hired somebody good enough and you could have already been shooting.
Well, I guess if you're really confident in your directing abilities, maybe
so
you
I
can
hired
take
a guy.
anyone.
Long time ago, we were working on my film Fractured House, and the lead character is a guy named Larry Streeter-Bergensen, and like the first guy who came in to audition was this actor named Keith Bongheimer, and he's a terrible actor, but he looked the part, and I thought, well, we can fix it in post, and and so yeah.
Well, what's the next tip?
The third tip is don't show what you can say. This is a very popular tip amongst very many filmmakers. Like, for instance, World War II. You're making a film on World War II, and there's a big battle. Well, it could take you weeks, if not months, to shoot this battle scene. So why waste time doing that when you could just have one of your characters talk about it? And like you get it all done in about 3 minutes, what you could do in like a long time. With the Spanish Trap, there was a street fight amongst two gangs, but I didn't have enough actors and didn't even have a street, and so so I just had one I put a little like some makeup to bruise a guy's face, and then he looked at the camera and just told him about this fight that he was in. It worked great, I thought. So,
really? Was it like still as, I guess, entertaining as...
I was very entertained.
You were?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I mean, I could offer some pushback on that, Mr. Mann, if that's okay.
No,
that's
fine. I don't need any. I don't need
any
pushback.
Okay.
So it worked for me.
Okay.
And the last one, and this might sound counterintuitive, if that's a word in real life, but I would not waste time with bathroom breaks. Because if you let your actors know that, listen, we don't do bathroom breaks, they'll use the bathroom before they come, and you don't have to worry about it. Because sometimes, people go in the bathroom and they sit there and they doodle in more than one way.
So, like, what if you're doing a shoot all day long, like reasonably? You guys have breaks, and like, is this a strict tip?
Well, I mean,
guess,
the other thing is don't allow lunch break, because if you allow lunch breaks, then they're going to have a bathroom break, and then you just shot yourself in the foot. And remember, time is worth something.
Right.
So,
well, and I guess you have talked about bringing snacks before. Snacks could help with that. But I mean, personally, I use the restroom more than once a day. So I wonder if your actors would too.
I would have that looked at.
Really?
Yeah, maybe you've got an infection or something.
I thought I was normal, so that's interesting.
Sounds really weird.
Well, those are good tips. We're kind of coming up on time. Should we get to our sponsor?
Well, that's all I had. So yeah, let's go to our sponsor.
Okay. Today's episode is sponsored by Ted's Taxidermy and More. Ted will taxidermy anything from your mom's beloved poodle to sewer rats. But please remember, Ted will not taxidermy any type of bird. Ted says, "For the love of all things stuffed, don't bring those winged vermins into my shop." Well, thank you, Ted.
Well, once again, we want to thank our sponsors. And if you are interested in sponsoring the Josh Mann podcast, Bethany, let our listeners know how to do that.
Well, you can call our number at 347-766-5225. And then we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube. You can email us at joshmangenius@gmail.com. You can always
everywhere.
leave a comment. Yeah,
Yep.
we're everywhere. So if you're interested in sponsoring,
Just have your money ready because we're not cheap, but we're effective. And we know a lot of people out there probably would love to be associated with us. And this is your opportunity. So so give us a call or send us an email.
And I guess just because I'm curious, if you have like a normal kind of like everyday average business, we get some pretty interesting sponsors on the show, I think. So if you just have like a mom and pop store with like a normal slogan,
or if you're
love.
If you're like a big company with lots of money, that would be great. Like Walmart, if you're out there listening, or Amazon, or
That would be cool.
Wendy's.
Wow. Yeah, shooting high.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's somebody listening from Wendy's. So give us a call.
Okay.
And so I think that's it for this episode.
Yep.
Bethany, once again, you may want to have that checked out. But
My what? Huh?
Your bathroom disease that we're talking about. And so like
I
would
don't
bring,
have
like next
a
time
bathroom disease.
Excuse
I
me.
don't think.
When we record next week, if you would bring like some sanitizer or something, because I don't want that. Like you might wear a mask or something.
Oh, well, I don't think you have to worry too much, but it's still flu season.
It sounds
stuff.
horrible. You have to use the bathroom more than once a day. Anyway.
Wow.
Thank you, listeners, for tuning in once again to the Josh Mann podcast, and we will see you back here same time next week. You've been listening to the Josh Mann podcast, featuring director extraordinaire Josh Mann.